Well, I believe the pace at which we're seeing renewables being developed in Saudi Arabia, and particularly in Saudi Arabia and Emirates, is much more significant than it used to be more than 10 years ago. I understand that Saudi Arabia currently has more than 6 gigawatts of installed capacity, and already 20 gigawatts have been tendered, and the target is to reach a figure of more than of around 120 gigawatt by the around the year 2030. I believe also Emirates is also on a similar scale in terms of the current installed capacity to Saudi Arabia, and I believe also especially these two countries are making enormous investments because they're leading the diversification plans in their economies. While some other GCC countries are falling behind, but I believe at least we have two countries that are taking an important role to speed up the pace at which renewables being installed and also being brought into service to replace existing fossil fuel plants. I believe because here you have an advantage when you make use of renewables as you minimize the consumption for oil, and oil then is being saved for international exports. So there is an economic return, and when the investments in renewables are being made, is the return is that more oil can be exported. So that's one. Secondly, it also enables the kingdom to maintain its leverage over international energy markets as the guarantor of energy security, globally speaking. So I believe this is one way why the kingdom is making these investments in renewables rather than just going for a low emission economy. On the other hand, also I believe the kingdom they are making major investments in natural gas. Natural gas, especially with recent discoveries in the kingdom, natural gas is also expected to occupy as much as 50% of power generation mix by the year 2030. So I believe it's going both hand in hand, but certainly renewables is a strategic option. Well, I think we're seeing currently projects being the space is accelerating year after year. For example, since the year 2020, we started to see the first projects in the kingdom being rolled out, whether it's wind or solar and different sites. I believe the installed capacity used to be around 3 gigawatt, but today we sit at more than double that. So I believe the target is to roll over something like 20 gigawatt annually, reaching to the target of 120 gigawatts. So the pace at which we see these projects coming on stream is certainly going to be faster than it used to be over the past 5 years. Here also, one thing is bidders, when they come to bid for such projects, they see an advantage, which is the low production capacity. I believe in some sites in the kingdom, it's something like a cent per kilowatt hour. That's historically very low record. I believe the only one that is higher, slightly higher than that is in Portugal. So Saudi Arabia, I believe, right now is the lowest, and then another site in Portugal. So there's a very competitive advantage why you see investors coming to make such investments. Also, of course, the logistics and the support, the ecosystem that the government is providing for international investors is also very attractive. So I believe all of these strategies are expected to support the pace at which we are going to see projects being rolled over the next few years, over the next several years to come. Well, I believe here it's interesting because Saudi Arabia has been historically being perceived as an oil exporting country. And as you know now, there is an emphasis for the oil and gas industry to act on climate change. The kingdom has taken several important initiatives over the past 5 years with the announcement of a 2030 vision. So it's great to see such events like Innovation Zero, a globally well recognized event, being brought to the kingdom. And we see um, uh, companies and the industry and even the wider business community being engaged. I believe that will support the kingdom's movements towards achieving a net zero target by 2060 that the kingdom has announced back in 2021. Of course, that doesn't mean that Saudi Arabia will abandon its oil resources, but I believe it's in a very special position to make investments towards the net zero transition. And I believe an event like Innovation Net Zero is a strategic option for the kingdom to where it can showcase its initiatives.